20,000 years ago, we are in the Last Glacial Maximum, the coldest period of the Ice Age. Northern parts of North America, Europe, and Asia are covered in thick ice sheets. The southern regions are transformed into cold, vast grasslands like tundra ecosystems. Herds of animals are constantly migrating toward more fertile lands. To survive during that time, hunter-gatherer humans, who followed these herds, had to migrate northward in pursuit of them. In the northern and central regions of Europe, influenced by the Scandinavian ice sheet, winter temperatures range between -20 degrees Celsius and -30 degrees Celsius. Even in summer, temperatures were quite low, typically around -10 degrees Celsius to 0 degrees Celsius. Humans relied on natural shelters like caves and stone structures to protect themselves from the cold. However, hunter-gatherers tracking animal herds across vast tundras often found themselves in open, flat terrains devoid of caves, requiring them to create shelters. This necessity forced them to use materials like mammoth bones and fur to build shelters. In 1965, on an ordinary day in a quiet Ukrainian village, an extraordinary discovery was made. A farmer, while digging to expand his basement, stumbled upon a large, unfamiliar bone fragment. Upon closer inspection, he realized it was not an ordinary bone, but a mammoth jawbone. Driven by curiosity, he decided to dig deeper. As he continued digging, the soil seemed to reveal secrets buried for thousands of years, and more bones began to surface. What started as a simple digging project soon turned into an archaeological mystery. The farmer noticed that the bones were not randomly scattered, but carefully arranged, prompting him to alert the authorities. Professional archaeologists who arrived at the site were astonished by what they found. Extensive examinations revealed a discovery that reached deep into human history. A total of 149 mammoth bones, meticulously arranged, formed the remains of 4 small dome-shaped huts. Dating back approximately 15,000 years, these structures were shelters built by humans using mammoth bones. These huts not only reflected human survival skills in harsh glacial conditions, but also represented some of the earliest known remnants of human architecture. Such shelters were highly effective in protecting against wind and extreme cold, and they stand as symbols of human creativity and resilience in the frozen tundras of the past. Hunter-gatherers were skilled trackers. Their ability to navigate without compasses or modern tools far surpassed that of modern humans. However, it was not they who determined migration routes, but the herds of animals they hunted. As human populations grew, competition for resources increased. Resource scarcity in warmer regions forced some communities to migrate northward, following animal herds to less populated, new, and expansive habitats. Undoubtedly, woolly mammoths, which provided long-term food supplies and fur for warmth, were at the top of the hunting list. A single mammoth could provide around 5 to 6 tons of meat, enough to meet the meat needs of 10 people for 3 to 4 years. Mammoths spread from Africa to Europe and Asia, and from Asia to North America. The oldest mammoth fossils, dating back approximately 4 million years, were discovered in Ethiopia's Afar region. In Turkey, surface surveys indeniously uncovered mammoth fossils dating back 1.2 million years. These fossils belong to early mammoth species, quite different from the cold-adapted woolly mammoths. Woolly mammoth remains date back 400,000 years, with Russia's Siberia region being one of the richest areas for such fossils. Nearly intact mammoth fossils have been unearthed in Yakutia. Mammoths were herbivores and constantly migrated to vast grasslands in search of food. Hunting pressure also pushed them from temperate climates to less populated northern regions. In Europe, grasses and shrubs abundant in open tundras, and steppes were their primary food sources. As a result, some woolly mammoths migrated to Europe's grasslands and meadows in search of food. This explains why their fossils are found in Poland, the Czech Republic, Germany, France, Spain, and even northern regions like England. Today, the Dover Strait, connecting the English Channel and the North Sea, has an average depth of about 46 meters, with its deepest point reaching around 72 meters. During the Ice Age, sea levels were 130 meters lower, explaining how mammoths reached England. In 1956, the Rouffignac Cave in France's Dordogne region was discovered, containing over 250 cave drawings that have survived to this day. Most of these depict large animals like mammoths, bison, horses, and rhinos. The cave is particularly famous for its mammoth drawings, with around 158 mammoth depictions, making it one of the largest collections of mammoth art in Europe. Created using black manganese oxide and clay, these drawings, dating back 14,000 to 12,000 years, reflect the importance of mammoths to hunter-gatherers of that era. Siberia, during the Ice Age, was covered in vast grasslands and tundras. Mammoths, being herbivores, needed extensive grazing areas, and Siberia's steppes were ideal for their diet. Siberia was also sparsely populated, reducing hunting pressure and providing safe migration routes. Mammoths, with their thick fur and fat layers, were well adapted to cold climates. They later migrated eastward across the Bering Land Bridge to Alaska, then to Canada's tundras and northern parts of North America. Northern America, Europe, and northern Asia were buried under kilometers of ice. During this period, humans lived as hunter-gatherers, following large animal herds to meet their food needs. The harsh climate forced some to retreat to warmer regions, but increasing populations in temperate zones led to competition for resources. Humans followed mammoth herds and giant bison, relying on their meat and fur for survival. However, hunting mammoths was challenging due to their thick fur and skin, making primitive spears nearly ineffective. Smoked or dried meat was commonly used, and in cold climates, meat could be preserved for long periods. To supplement their diet, humans relied on plant roots buried under snow or stored dried plants and fruits. The average human lifespan during this period was 30 to 40 years. Respiratory infections, parasites, skin infections, joint and bone diseases, food poisoning from raw or poorly preserved meat, scurvy due to vitamin C deficiency, dental problems, and hunting injuries were common. During migration, humans used sharp spears to hunt bison, whose thick fur and meat provided long-term sustenance and warmth. In the absence of caves, they built primitive tents covered with animal hides or dug pits 50 centimeters deep for shelter, lining them with heated stones for warmth. Mammoths migrated to colder regions, and humans followed them across the Bering Land Bridge. During the Ice Age, sea levels were 120 to 130 meters lower, exposing the Bering Land Bridge, which was above water at the time. The bridge, covered in grasslands, provided an ideal migration route for mammoths and other herbivores. Humans developed trapping techniques, digging pits with sharp sticks to hunt mammoths. The meat was stored frozen and later dried for preservation. Mammoths continued migrating to Canada's tundras and northern parts of North America, while hunter-gatherer communities gradually moved southward. River valleys and open grasslands provided ideal living conditions, and some groups followed the Pacific coastline, relying on fish and shellfish for sustenance. Over thousands of years, these groups spread across North America, eventually reaching Central and South America. In Canada's Yukon region, stone tools and animal bones found in the Bluefish Caves date human presence back to approximately 24,000 years ago. In Chile's Monte Verde, excavations reveal human settlements dating back 18,500 years, making it one of the oldest known sites in South America. During the Ice Age, abrupt climate changes, such as Danskard-Oeschger and Heinrich events, caused rapid warming and cooling over centuries. These fluctuations force human and animal populations to migrate to new regions. Around 12,000 years ago, the Ice Age ended and global temperatures rose rapidly. The warming climate led to the shrinking of tundras and grasslands, replaced by forests and wetlands, reducing mammoths' habitats and food sources. Habitat loss and climate change caused mammoth populations to decline, leading to their eventual extinction. The Ice Age profoundly shaped the world's geography, ecosystems, and human life. It showcased the resilience and adaptability of both nature and humans. By the end of the Ice Age, humans began transitioning to agriculture and settled life, particularly in regions like the Fertile Crescent, where Göbeklitepe is located. This transition, known as the Neolithic Revolution, marked the beginning of permanent settlements, societal changes, and the rise of civilizations. As glaciers melted, sea levels rose, submerging low-lying coastal settlements and forcing humans to move to higher ground. Early agricultural activities shifted inland as fertile coastal areas were flooded. The Black Sea, once a freshwater lake, was flooded by Mediterranean waters through the Bosporus, transforming it into a saltwater sea. The oxygen-depleted depths of the Black Sea, below 150 meters, are dominated by microorganisms, preserving ancient shipwrecks. The Black Sea Maritime Archaeology Project, conducted from 2015 to 2020, discovered over 60 shipwrecks, including a 2,400-year-old Greek trading vessel, the oldest intact shipwreck ever found. As glaciers receded, previously uninhabitable high-altitude regions became suitable for settlement. Milankovitch cycles, long-term changes in Earth's orbital movements, influence climate and trigger ice ages. The next cooling period is expected in thousands of years, with human activities potentially playing a role in these cycles. Until the next video,